Good morning all. Today we are going to see semantic analysis, which is unit number 5. In previous lecture we have seen the parser, types of parser, top down parser, bottom up parser, then shift reduce parser. Okay, so next part from that is the semantic analysis. Now basically first we'll see what is semantic analysis. Okay, we have learned so far how a parse constructs a parse tree in the syntax analysis phase. The main basically the parse tree constructed in that phase is generally of no use for the compiler, right? Only generating a parse tree is of no use for the compiler, as it does not carry any information of how to evaluate the tree. The productions of context-free grammar, which makes the rules of the language, do not accommodate how to interpret them. Okay. Now basically if I am generating only tree, but I should have the information regarding that, right? So hence what is actually basically the semantic analysis is doing? It is giving you, as I every time say, semantics of a language basically means what? It is giving the meaning to the constructs, that is like tokens, syntax structure. If I say a is equal to 10, okay, what I'm doing, I'm assigning value 10 to a, right? So it should have some meaning. If I say a is equal to b, what is that basically? What is a, what is b? That should be known. That is given, that value is given by semantic analysis. That is meaning to the particular statement, right? What happens because of that then? Semantics help interpret symbols, their types, and their relationship with each other. Semantic analysis judges whether the syntax structure constructed in the source program derives any meaning or not. Okay. So his semantic analysis basically computes the additional information related to the meaning of the program once the syntactic structure is known. In the basically C language, what happens? Semantic analysis involves adding information to the symbol table and performing type checking. The information to be computed is beyond the capabilities of standard parsing techniques. Therefore, it is not regarded as a syntax. It's for lexical and syntax analysis. Also for semantic analysis, we need both the representation formalism and implementation mechanism. Okay. Now here comes into picture the principle of syntax directed translation. It's also said as SDT basically. Okay. So what is that basically? Okay, that we'll see now. Here basically what we are getting as an input for this particular phase, the output from the previous phase, that is syntax analysis phase we are getting, that is a parse tree or syntax tree we can get, and we have to give meaning to that particular tree. Okay, that is that only. So what we are indicating? We are indicating specifying translations for programming language constructs guided by what? Context free grammar. Okay, now here what we are going to do? We are going to associate attributes to the grammar symbols representing the language structure. Okay, let us suppose the values for attributes are computed by semantic rules associated with the grammar productions. Okay, now how we are going to evaluate now? So generate code, insert information into the symbol table, perform semantic check, issue error messages, etc. Okay, so there are two notions actually, notations. First is the syntax related definition, it's called as SDD, and second is a translation scheme. Okay, so out of which the first one will see syntax directed definitions. Okay, so here we are going to define whatever things we have going to say in the semantics. Okay, so first, that the generalization of the context free grammar, in which first grammar symbols have an associated set of attributes. Okay. Second, productions are associated with semantic rules for computing the values of attributes. Third, such formalism generates annotated parse trees where each node of the tree is a record with a field for each attribute. For example, x dot a indicates the attribute or a of the grammar symbol a. Okay. Next, the value of an attribute of a grammar symbol at a given parse tree node is defined by a semantic rule associated with the production used at that node. Okay, so here I would like to clear here, just as I said, as we have said, syntax directed definitions. What this means basically, let us suppose some in the previous examples, as we have already said, the regarding semantic attributes should be associated with that, right? And it should be evaluated at the time of assignment. Let us suppose I am saying E gives me E plus T. What are this E, T? E gives me ID every time we see. So what is this basically? Terminals and non-terminals. What we are doing basically, relationship between terminals and non-terminals. As I said in C language, what I am saying, A is equal to B. So A is some variable, B is some variable, and I am trying to define the relationship between A and B, right? And this, but what is A basically and what is B is defined by this thing. So that is what is the syntax directed definition. What I am going to define, let us suppose A dot val means what? A is having some value. B dot val means what? B is having some value. Okay. And in that case, we have to define whatever thing I am saying, A dot val. What is this val basically? Is of type integer or character? That we have to say. And if A dot val, if I am trying to assign A is of character and B is of type integer, and if I am trying to say integer value assigned to character value, it is wrong. So in that case, semantic error will be generated according to rule, unless and until A and B are not defined. If I am saying A is equal to B, is okay. If I am saying A is equal to B, unless and until I don't have the data types of A and B, it's fine. It is syntactically correct. Parse generated for the same is correct. But when I am getting the meaning for that, at that time it will generate an error. That is a semantic error. Okay. So with respect to that, there are different types of attributes, out of which we are going to define differentiated into two, distinguish between two: synthesis attributes and inherited attributes. Out of which we will see the first one is synthesis attribute. These attributes gets the value from the attribute values of their child nodes. To illustrate, let's take the example. S gives ABC. Means what is here happening? Child nodes are what? A, B, C. And the parent is S. So here what I am getting? The ABC values are synthesized to S. Okay. So let us suppose, if I am saying just now, as I said, E gives E plus T. So what is this E and T? They are getting value from E. So here synthesis attributes E and E plus T. Okay. So synthesis attributes never take the values from its parent node or any sibling node. Okay. They get it from the child node, which is very important. Next, inherited attributes. Okay. Here in contrast to synthesis attributes, what is going to happen? They can take the values from parent or sibling. Previous scenario, reverse scenario. A gets values from SBC. B gets value from SAC, C gets value from SAB, likewise. Okay. So here the next concept is of expansion and reduction. So out of which the first is what? You can see reduction. How it is reducing from child nodes to the parent node, whereas expansion is from parent node to the child node. So here I can say when a non-terminal is expanded to terminal, as per a grammatical rule, it is what? Expansion. And the reverse scenario, when a terminal is reduced to its corresponding non-terminal, it is what? Reduction. So syntax tree are parsed top down and left to right. Whereas reduction occurs, we apply its corresponding semantic rules. Semantic analysis uses syntax directed information with abstract AST, which are called as the attributed grammar. Attributes are two tuple basically. It has the attribute name and the value assigned to that. Okay. That's all for today. Thank you.